in a nice way. In a way that the Prophet ﷺ would advise people. If somebody was harsh to him, he would respond in a nice way. If somebody would swear at him, he wouldn't swear back. Because he was of a higher character, a better character. إِدْفَعْ بِالَّتِي هِيَ أَحْسَنُ. Respond in a way that is better, ahsan, nicer, better. Something bad, respond with a nice way. Advise in a way that will be beneficial. That's with your friends. Parents, or let's say the single people, or for the adults, when you choose a spouse, a partner, for the brothers when you choose a wife, for the sisters when you choose a husband, try to choose somebody who is God, somebody staying or marry somebody who is not a Muslim, or even not practicing Muslim. There's no structure in that marriage with regards to Imam. The children will be lost. If not the children, then the children's children will be lost. This is my experience. Although there is some experiences and some examples where somebody who is a non-Muslim, let's say a Christian or a Jew, or a new Muslim who is not practicing, and if Allah guides and if Allah gives hidayah, they are the best people. There are people who are in here, brothers whose wives are from non-Muslim backgrounds, and they are the best. They are the ultimate example of a good Muslim. But my fear is what we saw last week, and I said it and I'll say it again, because it needs to be in our minds and in our hearts. When we have a child who says to me, I do not want my father's ghusl, I do not want my father's janazah, I do not want my father's kafan, I just want words. I don't want any of that. I don't want a big deal. I don't want a big show. Even though I'm saying, no, this is what Islam teaches. Ghusl, kafan, janazah, and people from the community come, we bury our deceased. They say, no, I don't want any of that. I don't care about that. And this is a person with a Muslim name, with Muslim roots, whose father is a Muslim. He wanted a Muslim burial, but the fabric of their family was not Islam. The mother and father were not on the same page, let's say. My advice, my dear brothers, my dear sisters, and for the sake of the children, especially, make sure your homes, you know that when you walk into your house, this is a Muslim house. And I don't mean by the smell of the food or the clothes. And I don't mean that when you walk in, it says Bismillah or Dua on the wall, or you have nice pictures of Kalima on the walls. What I mean is that your homes should be places where Allah's name is mentioned, where you pray in jama'ah, when you pray together. And again, my worry is I'm talking to all of you who are already in the masjid. You brought your children to the masjid. So you're probably saying, I'm already doing that. We already pray together. We eat halal. My rizq, my wealth is halal. Why are you talking to me? You need to talk to those people. We have to try. Your responsibility as well as my responsibility as the children of Adam, that we have a responsibility as representatives of Allah on this earth. After Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, there is no other prophet. There is no other messenger. The message is with us, and we have that responsibility. When I say we, I don't just mean myself or the other imams who lead the prayers or stand on the minbar giving the khutbah. Every single one of us in this room and beyond. So if you know family members, friends who are in this position where they don't pray, or they don't fear Allah, or they don't pay their zakat, or they don't respect or remember or worship Allah as He should, your responsibility is to tell them. And this is how the message will be passed on to the next generation, to our children, to their children, and so on. The topic is deep. I just wanted to touch the surface. I hope you've got the message. We are Muslim, and we are proud to be Muslim. We are Muslim and Mu'min believers, and we are Rasulullah. Especially when we reach the age of maturity, when we are baligh and aqil, when we reach the age of maturity and we are conscious that we are Muslim, the responsibility starts. The angels on our shoulders are writing. Every good deed is written, and every bad deed is written. The responsibility is there. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give me tawfiq and to give all of you tawfiq. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to live in accordance to Islam and die in accordance to La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. May Allah protect us, protect our children. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us upon as-sirat al-mustaqim, the straight path. And when we pray, and when we read Quran, and when we do any good deed, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow the barakah to enter into our lives and change us for the good. Ameen. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. قال الله تعالى في الشيطان الرجيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا عليه وسلموا تسليما. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك عليه. أما بعد, dear brothers and sisters, to be reminded or to remind others is part of our duty as well. Tadhakkir, so remind people, it is a benefit to the believers. So even though the messages that you may have heard today, last week, maybe next week, we may have heard before, and maybe you in your own circles you keep reminding people and they keep telling you, okay, we got the message. You keep telling us pray, you keep telling us stop swearing, you keep telling us stop dealing in haram, stop selling alcohol, stop paying or receiving interest, riba, stop doing. You've told us okay. And sometimes that's when the shaitan comes to you and says, you've done enough, leave it, that person's lost. Ultimately, al-hidayah, guidance, comes from Allah. That doesn't mean that our responsibility is over. Allah has given us that responsibility. We have that free will and that choice to either behave, act in a good way or not. Allah has given us that choice. Allah has given us that freedom to be good or to be bad, to do good or to do bad, to be mu'min, believers, or to be disbelievers. Allah has given us that freedom to act in that way, even though the guidance comes from Him. So for our societies to be flourishing and to benefit one another, we need to understand that the most honored of you, inna akramakum indallahi atqakum, the best of you in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one who is atqakum, the most righteous, the most pious. And what that basically means, for those who don't understand the words righteous and pious, it means those who remember Allah often and behave in that way. So everything you do, would Allah be happy? Everything you don't do, you miss. For example, you miss your prayers, would Allah be happy? Everything you say, would Allah be happy with me? Everything you don't say, when you should say something, you should speak out and you hold back, would Allah be happy with me? Atqakum is from taqwa, which is again what we spoke about last week. Inna akramakum indallahi atqakum, the best of you, the cream of the crop, we call it, the best of the best from you are the ones who are the most pious. What this teaches us is, I'm going to finish with this point, that Allah doesn't judge you on your face, or your clothes, or your bodies, or your abilities, or your skills, or your whatever you may have, your wealth, your money, your house or your cars. Allah does not judge you on that. Allah judges you on your hearts. And those of you who come to the madrasa here in the masjid, hadith number 2. إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يَنْظُرُ إِلَىٰ أَجْسَامِكُمْ وَلَا إِلَىٰ صُوَرِكُمْ. And another narration, وَلَا إِلَىٰ أَمْوَالِكُمْ وَلَكِنْ يَنْظُرُ إِلَىٰ قُلُوبِكُمْ وَأَعْمَالِكُمْ. It's a beautiful hadith. Allah does not look at your faces or your bodies. He doesn't look at your wealth. Allah looks at your hearts and He looks at your deeds. Hearts and deeds. إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ. They come together. Belief, Iman, I believe in Allah. A'mal, amal salih means I then act upon it. I behave in that way as well. Again, we ask, loving society that believes in Allah, worships remembers Allah often. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us to live in unity, which means together, united. And also we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us to be a way or a means that other people who may be our neighbors, friends, non-Muslims also come into Islam. It will benefit them, it will benefit us. And if everyone was a Muslim and a mu'min and a believer, then the whole society will definitely be better. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا اغفر لنا ولوالدينا وللمؤمنين يوم يقوم الحساب. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. وصلى الله على محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم أيد الإسلام والمسلمين، اللهم أعز الإسلام والمسلمين، اللهم انصر من نصر دين محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم واجعلنا منهم، واخذل من خذل دين محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم ولا تجعلنا منهم. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه، وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. اللهم ثبتنا على الإسلام، اللهم نور قلوبنا بنور الإيمان. اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات الأحياء منهم والأموات. عباد الله رحمكم الله، إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. واذكروا الله تعالى يذكركم وادعوه يستجب لكم، ولذكر الله تعالى